When you think about what it takes to perform a quality squat with proper squat form, chances are you think about your butt, thighs, and knees. But if you're not seeing improvement in your squat game, or have a tough time getting low, you might want to spend some time thinking about your ankles. Stiff ankles may be interfering with your range of motion when squatting. Poor ankle mobility, difficulty getting the joint to flex and rotate can result from past injuries, like an ankle sprain, or everyday stress, like wearing heels every day. This factor comes into play when you're at the bottom of your squat, and without good range of motion in this joint, no amount of glute strength will get you low while keeping your heels on the ground. Here's how to troubleshoot your ankle mobility for optimal butt strengthening squats. If your body and mind are not right, the rest of your day will go all wrong. Take care of yourself. Welcome back to another episode of All Out You, the home of health and wellness on YouTube. We believe that if your mind and body are not right, then the rest of your day will go all wrong. Start each day on the right foot by subscribing to our channel, so you never miss out on any of our latest and greatest health and wellness videos. First, it's important to understand how ankle mobility helps you squat. The ankle joint is formed from the bone of the leg and foot, and it hinges up and down to move your foot in two main ways: plantar flexion and dorsiflexion. Imagine you're sitting on the ground with your legs straight out in front of you. Pointing your foot down is plantar flexion and flexing your foot back is dorsiflexion. Dorsiflexion is what's important during squats. Now think of performing a squat in super slow mo. When you squat, you first move at the hips, pushing them back. Next, the knees should bend and your butt lowers toward the ground. As you do this, your center of balance shifts back, so as you continue to squat, your lower legs, your shin bones, need to stabilize to keep your body upright. When you get into the bottom position of a squat, you need to demonstrate dorsiflexion of the ankles in order to maintain a flat foot position. If your ankles can't hinge enough during a squat, you'll most likely notice that you have to lift your heels off the ground to get any lower, which you want to avoid. In order to prevent this, you'll have to limit how deep you go with your squat, and if you're not getting low enough, you won't be getting the full benefits of a squat in the first place. Having a greater range of motion recruits more muscle mass, and helps ensure that the correct muscle fibers are firing to get you low, so you'll be strengthening the muscles that squats are actually designed to strengthen. While how deep you can get in a squat partially depends on the individual, you should aim for your thighs to be at least parallel to the ground, while keeping your entire foot pressing against the floor. In addition to not getting the benefits you're working toward, like stronger glutes and legs, squatting with poor ankle mobility can lead to aches and pains in other joints. When your ankles aren't supporting your movements, your knees and hips may be absorbing more of the load. This is referred to as adjacent joint problems. There are some ways you can work on improving your ankle mobility. Doing ankle mobility exercises will create a greater awareness of what your ankles can do, so your brain is a little more aware of what is going on when you need to demonstrate greater ranges of motion during your day. Before you start doing the exercises, check your ankle mobility, so you can gauge your progress and identify imbalances. Start by sitting down with your legs straight out in front of you. Point your toes and see how far down they go, then bring them toward the ceiling to flex your foot, and see how far back your feet come. While there's no right range of motion to it because everybody is different, you may notice the one side isn't able to move as much as the other, which can lead to adjacent joint problems in one side. Do these 3 exercises recommended while you're sitting at your desk or on your couch. With any of these, it is suggested doing 10 to 12 reps for 3 sets, and don't forget to do both sides. 1. Ankle pumps. While you're seated, take one foot and pump your ankle, alternating between pointing downwards and upwards, plantar flexion and dorsiflexion. You can also move your foot in a circle, just switch directions halfway through your reps. 2. Rolling chair exercise. If you're in a rolling chair, keep your feet on the ground and try to push the chair away from your feet. That's plantar flexion. Then you could roll the chair forward so your feet end up further underneath you, and that's dorsiflexion. 3. Tennis ball exercise. Place a tennis ball in the arch of your foot. Roll the ball forward and backwards. It looks like your foot is doing the moving, but it's really your ankle joint. By improving your ankle mobility, you just might find that you can squat deeper. In the meantime, if you do find your heels coming off the ground when squatting, one immediate fix to consider is placing them on a weight plate during squats so you can still share the load. Here's how. The squat exercise is one of the best ways to strengthen your lower body, and this body weight modification is one way to make sure you're doing the move correctly. The next time you're at the gym, take a weight plate, the cast iron circles you add to a barbell to make it heavier, and set it on the ground. Stand in front of the plate in your squat stance with your feet about shoulder width apart. Lift your heels up and plant them on the edge of the plate. The balls of your feet will still be pressing down into the ground. Now squat. You'll notice that you were probably able to get a bit lower, and the exercise just felt a little better in general. These heel raises address one of the major limitations that restrict you from squatting effectively: ankle mobility. When one cannot adequately flex at the ankle, you'll see some common changes in foot positioning, either excessively wide stances, turned out feet, or coming up onto the toes during a squat and losing heel contact with the ground. By placing a small rise under the heel, you allow the body to squat in a more natural way, which is to share the load between the heels and balls of your feet. As a result, you can take a more natural stance. Ankle mobility will also help you bend your knees deeper while keeping your torso more upright. In a squat, we would like to see a more upright torso when compared to a deadlift, where you are hinging more and bending your knees less. Better form leads to better results and reduces your risk of injury. So, when you're doing squats, keep these form tips in mind. Remember, there's no one-size-fits-all squat stance or trick, but when you are doing a squat exercise, here are some important form tips to follow. Go as deep and low as you can comfortably. Keep your knees tracking over your toes, no collapsing in. Your back should remain flat, no rounding. Keep your chest lifted, don't allow it to cave in. Feet should constantly press against the ground, don't come onto the balls of your feet. If you're struggling to make those tips happen, try the weight plate squat trick. No matter what kind of squat you're doing, it's worth making sure your ankles are working for you rather than against you. And with that, we've reached the end of this episode all about ankle and tibia mobility for deep squats. Are you going to try these tips for improved mobility when doing deep squats? Get involved and let us know in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed this one and found it helpful, remember to leave a like on the video and to subscribe to All Out You for even more amazing videos, just like this one. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.